Thessalonians chapter 4 and chapter 5, Paul gives some of the most in-depth detail about the second coming of the Lord and the rapture of his church. Now, the second coming of the Lord and the rapture, some people kind of make it synonymous and they kind of mix it up. The second coming is what Jesus does, and the rapture of the church is what happens to the church. So one is focused on what Jesus does, and when he comes, Paul said in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 that there would be the shout of the Lord that would be heard around the nations, is how I understand it, the trumpet of God and the archangel. Now, we don't know what the archangel is commanding and what the archangel is saying, but when the Lord descends in flaming fire and all of his angels, it's seemingly either he or the Father shouts, the shout of God, the archangel commands, the trumpet is blasted, but then when the saints are raptured, caught up to meet the Lord in the air, I believe they happen in close proximity to each other. When the Lord returns, he raptures the church. I believe that's at the end of the tribulation. A lot of folks think that's at the beginning. I just have a real strong conviction it's at the end, and I got a lot of Bible verses behind that, but I'm not going to go into those right now. But when the church is raptured, it says that he will transform the church, new bodies, and we will meet the Lord in the air. Then in 1 Thessalonians 5, which he goes on and continues, because chapter 4 and chapter 5, there's no chapter break from Paul's point of view. He goes on to say, but he goes, understand this, and don't let anybody deceive you. He goes, the day of the Lord won't come until the end time falling away happens and until the Antichrist is on the global stage, that he takes his place on the global stage. So he goes, though we know the Lord's coming soon, we know, he says real clearly, he says, don't let anyone deceive you. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3, don't let anyone deceive you into thinking these things are going to happen until the falling away happens, until the Antichrist is on the world stage, and the Antichrist is going to have tremendous signs and wonders. That's 2 Thessalonians 3. That goes together with 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5. You put those chapters together and you get a kind of a big overview. There's about 20 details in them. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5 and 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Put them together because they were written in close proximity to each other. And I think you'll find some very inspiring, insightful, and even awe-striking details related to the Lord's return and the catching up of his people to meet him in the air. 1 Thessalonians 4 and 5, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2.